RaceYa is a digital enabler for the endurance sports community, allowing athletes to connect and engage with the community and providing event organizers, brands and distributors, corporations and organizations, coaches and instructors an online platform to offer their products, events, and services. Dean Ferrera is the founder and CEO of RaceYa. In this episode, we will get to hear how RaceYa is enabling the endurance sports community through technology, their insights and experiences during this time of COVID-19 pandemic, and how they aim to create an athlete in everyone through their digital platform. Hello, Tin. Thank you for accepting this invitation. As a startup enthusiast and a marathon runner, I'm very excited to have this conversation.
Hello, Johnny. Thanks for having us, and we're very excited to talk with someone who's a startup supporter and is also a RaceYa athlete.
Yes, so I'm very happy. Okay, so let's start. So ano ang RaceYa?
We are a digital platform for endurance sports. So through our platform, we help create the athlete in everyone.
Yeah, that's a very short and good answer. So I want to expound about that. So ayun nga, RaceYa is a digital enabler for the endurance sports community. So it connects the athletes to the community, which composes of a lot of people, of a lot of establishments. So how exactly does this happen? Maybe let's start with the athletes. So like, ano yung nakukuhang benefits ng athletes, or like what can they get from RaceYa?
Okay, so RaceYa actually started way back 2017. So originally, actually up until now, our URL is RaceYa. So nagsimula kami as RaceYa, rooting from the word yaya.
Yeah.
Basically, pag yaya, di ba, reliable assistant at home. So we are the assistant for races. So we built technology solutions to digitize races back then. So when we started joining yung mga races overseas, abroad, we saw technology that are not happening here in the Philippines. So sabi nga, pen and paper, everything is manual, which is not bad, but it is not seamless and it needs a lot of improvement. So we started to digitize this experience, allowing yung tinatawag natin na leaderboard and following the athletes. Kasi di ba parang endurance sports is not a spectator sport. So hindi yan, compared to other sports, you're not doing it in one big arena. So we made the internet an arena for spectators to follow the athletes and for families to follow and cheer their dads, their moms as they do this long distance races. So doon kami nagsimula. So yun, slowly we evolved and we saw the need to provide access to mga sports gear, nutrition, access to coaches. So that's how RaceYa started basically. And so for an athlete, yung sabi mo nga, ano yung benefit for an athlete? So having an account with RaceYa allow you to easily gain access to these things. Event registration, gears and nutritions that you need, access to coaches and finding the right training, and access to the marketplace. And also, yung isa sa importante is to monitor and track your race and training performance. So back then, I remember may nagtanong sa akin, someone asked me, ano yung 5K race mo? I was like, 21 minutes, but I can't find you proof for it. So this is something that we're addressed. So sabi nga namin, we'd like to, this is one of the things that we are trying to address. Parang lahat ng things that we saw as what's lacking in the Philippines and what we can digitize, yung experience ng athlete.
Yes, I remember actually when I was doing races nga in the Philippines, first yung registration, you actually have to go to a sports shop and dun ka magre-register. And also, like yung proof nga nung speed, nung finish time, it's a certificate sometimes, di ba? But when it's online, it's very convenient. If it's online, if it's digital, it's in the website, in the digital platform. So I think it's a very good and interesting way to enable athletes. So now let's go sa other part of the community, yung event organizers, brands, corporations, coaches. So how can they be enabled naman dito sa RaceYa, and ano yung benefit nga na makakuha nila?
So I think we can compare ourselves to kung sa travel, meron tayong Airbnb, then for employees and employers, meron tayong LinkedIn. We are that. We're the Airbnb and LinkedIn for the sports community. So basically, if you're a vendor, an event organizer, a product distributor, or reseller, or you're a coach or a fitness facility or instructor, you can create a page for you to be able to offer your products, your services, your events to athletes. So you can be seen and you can reach out to the athletes easily and promote your own products. So that's for free. And aside from that, we also have that solution which will allow you to monitor their transactions from booking all the way up to payment, all the way up to the race itself. So it allows you to focus on what matters, which is for an event organizer, giving a superb and safe racing experience for the athletes, for product sellers to focus on improving their products, providing things and the athletes need, and for coaches to focus on being able to prepare those programs for their athletes. So instead of doing that manual stuff of doing things, and it allows you also to reach out to athletes. So even those who are not in your network can be reached through the platform.
I really like yung comparison nga sa LinkedIn and sa Airbnb. I think one of the trends nga sa tech startups now is yung digitalization, kasi you can focus on like the physical things, the logistics if you're an organizer, and then like everything else, like connecting with the community, engaging, marketing, it's online, so it's very convenient.
Yes, automated.
So speaking of tech startups, so RaceYa was also part of the She Loves Tech Philippines edition pitch competition nitong October lang. So maybe it can help us get more clearer picture on the innovation and technology that RaceYa is doing. So maybe can you share like how you made your pitch, like ano yung problem na talagang tinatackle or like yung pain point? I mean, can you share us how you pitched, and maybe you shared about your vision or like your future plans for RaceYa?
So yeah, it was very exciting. So She Loves Tech is one of the world's largest startup competition for women. So it was a great experience to be there as one of the top 10 female-led tech startups in the Philippines. So I myself started in the sports, in the male-dominated sports, sa ultra running. So when I was starting, parang I was one of the 3 or 5 females who brave an ultra marathon. So pag ultra marathon yung distance na 50 to 200K. So that's actually the same vision for RaceYa that we have. Provide an inclusive, through our digitalized platform, we can be inclusive and accessible for everyone. We'll be able to support yung journey ng athletes. And when we say athletes, it's not what we visualize as someone who's lean, a lean man or woman in lycra suit or short shorts, or not whose calves are shouting fast. Anyone can be one. Our vision is to be a platform who can make an athlete in everyone. So this includes a stressed out mom who wants to start exercising but do not know where to start. Yung probably a tech guy who goes on his bike to the mountain to draw inspiration and back before he goes back to coding, or an experienced athlete who wants to do her first Ironman race before turning 50, or it could be an office girl who wants to keep herself fit just to keep herself looking good. So yung dinescribe ko, these are actually the team who's behind RaceYa. So kami yung mga lahat, everyone's an athlete. And if you're not one and you're joining the team, we'll make you one. So, kumbaga, start within your circle nga. So, yun, that's our vision for RaceYa, to be a digitized platform for everyone. And we're not just talking about those joining sporting events. We're not just talking about everyone who's been doing the sports as a lifestyle. We're talking about every individual who wants to be one.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's an amazing vision. Kasi you're making endurance sports or sports inclusive for everyone with the help of technology, with the help of digitalization. And I think it's a very important matter now kasi ayun nga, it's also with health and fitness. Like we want to engage everyone to look at our own health and fitnesses. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so to get a clearer picture then with RaceYa, so sino na ba yung mga nakipag-partner with RaceYa? Maybe it's like sino or anong event and events organizers, and like gaano karaming athletes ba yung involved sa community ng RaceYa, and maybe coaches. So just for our listeners to get a picture.
So we are affiliated with several race organizers. Right now, I think we're at 45. That's across in the Philippines and across Southeast Asia. That includes our affiliation with national sports bodies like the Triathlon Association of the Philippines and the Philippines Obstacle Sports Federation. So far, we have handled 345 events. These are live and in person. And in the marketplace, in the e-commerce platform, we have about 200 brand SKUs. And to date, we've served 35,300 athletes. That's
Wow.
across 5 countries.
Wow.
Mostly in the Philippines pa din. But yun, to date, that's our users, the athletes that we have served. And yeah, I think one of the major, most exciting race that we have service is the World Trail Running Championship in Nepal. That was one of the last few races, October 2019 yon. So before the pandemic happened. So it's the World Trail Running Championship. So lahat ng best trail athletes around the world were there, including Kilian Jornet. So yun,
Oh.
that's one of our very exciting story to tell. Kasi when we were starting, I had this joke na one day this timing bracelet will be worn by Kilian, and we will track him in RaceYa. And it happened. So
Wow, amazing.
yun. Oo. Mga lodi talaga of trail running yon.
I'm curious lang, so you also serve nga international organizations and events. So just curious lang, like how did this happen? I mean, because you started naman in the Philippines, I think. So like, paano kaya nangyari na someone from the foreign scene or other country found about RaceYa?
Because I think in Southeast Asia, the need is exactly the same. So organizers cannot afford or find the available technology solutions expensive. So when we launched in the Philippines, we were, I think, on our second event. So we started getting inquiries, and these are organizers that I've personally met actually in some of the races that I've joined either in the Philippines or overseas. No? So, and then word of mouth. So that's how we started. And yun, that's how we started. And of course, once people see the benefits and the advantages of having our service, then it spreads out.
Interesting. So let's go naman sa effect ng COVID-19 pandemic. Kasi I know na malaking epekto nung nangyari nga itong pandemic. Kasi obviously, like trail running or road running, you cannot do these events anymore. Especially nung simula na like may lockdown, may quarantine. So can you share how did you pivot nung nangyari nga itong pandemic? Kasi you started naman before pa nangyari itong pandemic. And maybe share some insights and experiences on how you bounced back or on how you changed nga your team or what you do in RaceYa.
So there are 4 major things that we did during the pandemic. So what we have implemented. Number 1 is we pivoted and built platform to allow us to host virtual challenges and let athletes experience racing from wherever they are. We also allowed our timing platform to be able to service clients even if there's no in-person service from our team. So basically, yun sa timing platform, we digitize it so that organizers and racers can use it, can have access to it wherever they are. And second, we're able to digitize several brands and retailers. So I think everyone was caught off guard. Even the big brands were not ready for the movements to be that restricted. So walang access to the stores and some are not able to operate. So we help digitize some of the brands and retailers for them to be able to reach out to the market still and do online sales. And third, we just recently launched this. So we found the need to digitize also the platform for coaches and trainers because some of the coaches and trainers are offering their service within their network, so word of mouth. And also there are athletes naman who are looking for coaches. So we started to put up this hub where they can meet and where coaches can reach out to athletes, offer their service, and at the same time, athletes can find who's the best coach. This is something that we recently launched lang, so we're in the process of onboarding. So if you're a coach or a fitness facility who wants to digitize your service, so get in touch with us. Pwede ba mag-advertise?
Yeah, sure, of course. Feel free.
So yun. And then last thing, I think one thing that the pandemic provided for us is the opportunity to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So not just with our strategy and vision, but also be part of mentoring programs. So we were part of the Kubos incubation program in November. So we took part in that, and fortunately we learned a lot, and most of the mentorship that we got there, we were able to apply in our product development. So actually going back, the pandemic happened. Before the pandemic happened, kasi we had almost 2 to 5 events na planned across Southeast Asia for each weekend. Tapos, we're in the middle of launching a new version of the app. And so yun, mass gathering was canceled, as you mentioned. So what we did actually to achieve those core things that we did is instead of waiting for things to normalize, we adjusted to what was normal. So, kumaga parang seize the moment. So, nung extreme yung lockdown, we provided contents in Facebook, workout videos, everything that the athletes might need, challenges that can be done at home. We also started providing yung content for DOH dun sa Department of Health for the Healthy Filipinas campaign. So during those, I think that was March until April. Then I think slowly things is up. We were allowed to run outside within our barangay. So we started to launch an outdoor challenge from wherever they are, yung virtual challenge. So we partnered with the Department of Tourism to launch a parang Run the Philippine Mountains campaign. So basically reach a certain elevation gain as if you're running Mount Pulag, no? So,
gets.
Or Mount Apo. So, yun. And surprisingly, I think about 30% of our participants were from other countries. And they're too eager. That made them too eager to visit the Philippines. But hopefully soon, they can. So, they can visit the mountain that they run virtually. So, yun. We also became instrumental the platform to fundraising efforts. So basically, for athletes, ito yung nakatakbo ka na or nakabike ka na, nakatulong ka pa. So collectively, through the several events that were hosted through our portal, we were able to help rebuild a bridge in Wawa in Montalban, Rizal, provide PPEs to frontliners, food relief, masks for schools, and also for the environment. We recently launched yung fundraising for the mangroves by the engineering board in the Philippines, and just recently yung breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
And for organizations naman and corporation, ito yung isa din sa things that became challenging, how to keep the team engaged since almost everyone is working from home.
Online.
So, online. So, walang masyadong interaction. So, our platform became a common venue for everyone to see each other. So, parang you compete with your colleagues online or your fellow teammates online. So, you're engaging, if you're a corporation, you're engaging the team now while motivating them to keeping them healthy. So, it's a challenging, but I think what we learned, first, is really essential. And we ended, during this pandemic, we realized that it should be the core of what we are doing. Prior to the pandemic, our platform serviced the community of athletes that we belong to. That was our market. But now we are building and moving to be able to serve not just our community, but every individual.
I think it's a very creative and innovative move nga, yung taking care of your fitness and your health, a virtual experience. I think it's a very amazing move na ginawa ng RaceYa. So now, let's go naman sa sport itself, sa endurance sports and sa community. So maybe let's go to a bit personal. So like you, Teen, so what really got you into this sport in the first place? I just want to know your views. How did you become an athlete in the first place?
Okay, I discovered running in 2008. Prior to that, I was your typical corporate girl, busy, who's not into sport. I do some gym, tennis, but nothing serious that I really commit to. And so I discovered it in 2008 during the start of boom of running races. So a friend gave me a bib na 5K, tapos sabi ko, sige, 3 days before the race, I ran from my house to Metro Walk. Then that was my only training. So I was totally clueless. But I ran the race, got my medal, went home, and then my friend texted me, sabi niya, third ka sa age group, you won 300.
Wow.
I never got the 300 pesos cash prize. Pero it was more than enough to get me curious and start looking for more. Yon. So that was how I started. So from 5K, I eventually wanted to run a 10K, then a marathon. Yon. And then right now, I discovered the joy in trail running nowadays. But of course, I still do trail running. So before, I think yung question mo, what keeps me going? Before, it was my competitiveness that kept me going. Okay. I want to run more. I want to run faster. I want to win this race. But after a while, after several years of doing it and being motivated by that, I have stopped chasing that goal. And that feeling that you're doing the sports because you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think I'm at that state now. So it really evolves. And right now, I register and show up for a race because I love being there. I love to be with the community and I love sweating and challenging myself.
It's true, it's true. I actually can relate somehow because I also started with short races, and then when I ran my first marathon, for me, it's not really about the speed or the time. I think it's more of like the endurance nga, or like challenging yourself. Like yung pagtipong nasa 30K ka na or 35K ka na, pagod ka na, pero kailangan mo pang ituloy, kumbaga. Yung the mental fortitude, kumbaga. I mean, for me, I think, and I think many people then in the running community, it's like, what is running and sports for them? So now, from an athlete naman, how did you become a tech startup founder? I mean, what happened?
I think my own personal journey as an athlete exposed me to what our sports lack in the Philippines. And I think in my own capacity, I believe that I can pay it forward to the community through being a tech startup founder.
I see. And it's actually scaling yung service and enabling other athletes. So let's go back again dun sa sport mismo, sa running, sa trail running, and other endurance sports. So in the Philippines, what can you say about the state of this sport? Kasi I heard nga that Filipinos, actually I also saw sa Facebook ng RaceYa, Filipinos are one of the laziest, and I think on average slowest runners. I think I've seen that somewhere. So what do you think about this? And then how would you want maybe people to know sports, running, endurance sports, and maybe RaceYa? I mean, how do you want to inspire them to take care of their fitness and to try this out?
Yeah, I think during one of our recent webinar, the speaker, si Attorney Agra, mentioned na in one of the studies, yung teenager na Filipinos are second rank in terms of the laziest worldwide. So it goes to show that there's a lot of improvement. I think sports in general in the Philippines, it is in startup stage as well. But of course, there's a lot of progress and growth through the years. We just got our first gold for the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
And our Olympic, we have a marathon Olympian now, but we're on our way there. There are so many potentials and talents, but I think we can improve by giving equal exposure in sporting events, grassroots program, sports program for youth to after college, and even for adults like us. So sending a message that sports is essential through programs, through activities, through the things that the community is pushing. And I think us, RaceYa, can be part of it, can be part of this move to promote sports and what and where we want it to be.
Of course. Because I think yung digitalization and yung scaling, napakalaking tulong niya to reach many people. I remember nga yung stories ng ating Olympians and ng ating gold medalists. Parang they started when they were young. And then, so, like maybe RaceYa can help inspire even the younger people and even yung previously non-athletes nga to start. And maybe, who knows, one of them becomes a future Olympians or medalist. So this is a very inspiring and wonderful conversation about sports, about running. So thank you very much, Tin. So maybe for this last few minutes, you can just share how can people know more about RaceYa, or if they want to connect with you, how can they do so? How can they find you?
Yeah, so I hope you can join our journey in RaceYa. So number one is create an account in RaceYa, create your athlete profile, and I guarantee you that you won't regret it. We will be with you in your journey. So do check out the races that are available. There are some in-person events happening soon. We're very excited for that. But for now, do join the virtual challenges in the portal. And if you're looking for things that you need, it's also available in RaceYa. And we're there to support you. And for resources also, you can also check out and reach out to us at raceyaya.com. And then our email address is hello@raceyaya.com. So for collaborations also, you can reach us through that email address.
I think one of the very crucial things with RaceYa, I think it's approachable. Yung name pa lang di ba? Parang may engage ka to ask, even if you're just a beginner or something. Curious ka to go to the website and then to the platform and then, I'll try a race kaya. I think that's really what RaceYa is all about. I mean, helping our beginner athletes to grow and to try and to maybe someday become an Olympian nga or a gold medalist. So thank you very much, team. This is a wonderful conversation sharing about RaceYa and endurance sports and what you're doing as a tech startup. Thank you very much for sharing.